Welcome to a brand new day. It is Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we chat with Deb over at The World. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, JD.
Top of the morning to you. What can we expect in the World newspaper today?
Well, we have our Shop Where You Live promotion featuring this week Barry Tile. And then we're reminding people that Mother's Day is this Sunday, so you're running out of time.
Yeah, don't forget about that. Yes. And they're
So
saying sunny and 65 on Mother's Day, by the way. But go ahead.
perfect. Mothers deserve that.
Yes.
Check this week's World for unique gift ideas from all your favorite local businesses. And also, if you're looking to adopt a dog, cat, rabbit, or a guinea pig, check out our Adopt a Pet page in this week's World.
I love it. And is that with the Central Vermont Humane Society?
Yes, yes. All of the animals are now at the Central Vermont Humane Society looking for new homes.
No more bunnies at my house, Deb. Already have one. That's plenty. Two cats, thousands of chickens. We're good.
Yeah, I understand. but, but I know these animals are looking forward to having a new home.
We've been talking and sharing a lot of information about your partnership with the Times Argus, and just one more time, when can people? And I know that we've talked about this in past Wednesdays, but when can people start expecting to see the World in their mailboxes?
So right now, it's delivered to the households in the 05602 zip code.
All right.
Every Thursday they receive it. We're still working on getting the ones for the 05641. So Barry, Berlin. I don't have a date yet, but we are working on it.
All right.
We just have to have enough inserts in order to pay for the postage.
Sure, sure.
So,
vt-world.com for the digital version, right, Deb?
yes, yes.
All right. We love you. We love Gary. We love your whole team. Everything that you guys do for us every single day. It takes you a full week just to get ready for Wednesdays, and this is it. The World is out today. Thank you so much, Deb.
Thank you, Jenny. Bye bye.
Hey, don't forget, like I said, mid 60s today, going to be warming up just a little bit. Clouds, rain showers coming in, and cloudy and upper 40s tonight. I know this cool front is just hanging out on top of us here in New England. Tomorrow, cloudy, upper 50s. Friday, cloudy and rainy, 53 only for the daytime high on Friday. Weekend, front side of it, not so great. Steady rain on Saturday, about 60 degrees. And then again, on Mother's Day, sunny and 65. Do something with mom. Get outdoors, wash her car, take her to make her breakfast if you can't afford to take her out for breakfast. Just do something with your mom. Red Sox lost 6-1 to the Rangers last night. Back at it for Game 2 tonight. Yankees destroyed the Padres. Celtics Game 2. 12-3, by the way, for that Yankees game last night. Game 2 of the conference semis with the Knicks tonight for the Celtics. Road construction. Do expect delays today. No matter where you are, there's something that's going on. And I know Route 302, the milling work that's going on at the bottom of the heights and, frankly, up the Orange Heights is really causing some delays. So just allow some extra time and allow some patience too. All right. Wellness Wednesday. It is today. Back at it at the Well Space Building on Summer Street right here in the Granite City, hosted by Washington County Mental Health. It is always free. It is always open to the public. It starts at 4:30, goes till 7 o'clock. You can try out maybe a Swedish massage or chair massage or what have you, but sound healing, they do Reiki, they do it all, and walk-ins are welcome. Again, it is free. Get to Wellness Wednesday today. 479-4055 to set up an appointment if you'd like to come at a certain time today because, well, frankly, you deserve it. National Barrier Awareness Day today, May 7th. Every year we are we're charged with breaking down obstacles for National Barrier Awareness Day today. And I have a good number of friends with disabilities. We're always speaking up and out about this. If there's ever been a day to talk about the questionable treatment of human beings, it is today. Should be every day. So do all you can always to help give opportunities to folks with any kind of disability to change and to succeed and to be better. So good day for that. I have two guests with me that I am thrilled to announce. Every Wednesday, Sweethearts and Heroes is on the air with me. And what exactly is that? Well, we got Brian with us this morning, and Loudon, you were just here last Wednesday. Welcome back to the mics, man.
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for having us. And I'm stoked. We got Brian down here.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
This guy's an animal. He just did the tell me about Killington. What was that? What was it called?
The Beast at Killington.
How the hell did you do that, man?
The Spartan race. Yeah, it's a test. It's a test of. It was really mental. You train, but you can't train for it.
Yeah.
So
was that your first one?
it was not my first Spartan race, but it was the first Killington Beast I had done.
All right.
We did Spartan races all last summer. But
Loudon, you did not do it.
No, I did not do it. I did not.
He did not, but
The
Loudon.
reason why.
The reason why?
The reason why.
Well, some people like it. Some people like it. It was intense. I ran. I didn't run it. I walked up the hill a few times with a camera the day before, and I was like, yeah, no.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. I used to work for Spartan. I used to sell merch for them. I used to travel around, and we would go all over.
Yeah.
Montana, California, Florida. And basically, they have this thing called the Mountain Series, and Killington is the Mountain Series. In the Mountain Series, that's always longer than they advertise, so you get more miles. They trick you.
Yeah.
And the incline, the altitude is a whole nother feat in the Mountain Series. So he did it. I'm shocked he did it.
And Brian, you were just telling me off the air, the end was pretty rough going for you there, pal.
Well, it got to the top of what they call the Death March, which is,
Yeah, very inviting.
It's fitting name.
That sounds like a great day.
It was a fantastic day. Fantastic day. If you're looking to push yourself.
What happened at the Death March for Brian?
So the Death March, I accomplished the Death March, but once I got to the top of the Death March, they told us on this thing that at a couple different stations they'd be having bananas, to just keep you going.
Yeah.
And I didn't pack anything. I didn't pack water. I didn't pack any.
What?
I know, but bad planning on my end. But I get to the top of the Death March, and it's like my blood sugar just.
Yeah.
So
sure.
The next 2-3 miles, I'm just in a haze, wandering forward. Thank God the terrain, because some of the terrain you twist
Crazy.
your ankle, you're done, and thankfully it was manageable.
But you did it, man.
Did it. My brother did better than me. He killed me by about an hour.
Now, this was part of the youth leadership summit that you guys were doing.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. By the way, Brian, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Oh, thank you for having me.
There are no rules here.
No rules.
You
Sweet.
cut him off. He cuts you off. I cut both of you off. I mean, there's really it's freestyle here, man.
Nice.
But what was that youth summit?
Yeah, so it kind of started back in January of 24, where we kind of so I don't know if you've ever heard Spartan races.
Oh yeah,
I mean, so
heard of them.
Yeah.
You ever run one?
That's the $1 million question. And I know that you guys are looking at me saying, "I'm sure you've done one before, right?" I mean, you were when you saw me, you're like, "I wonder how many
Dude,
he's
you
done."
look like a beast. You should be on the beast course.
Yeah. Never.
Never. Well, yeah.
Never.
So it started playing back in January 24, and we basically had the idea of we're out traveling basically every day of the school year trying to get to schools, but we're limited in our people basically.
Sure.
So the idea was, how do we bring a bunch of these youth influencers from different intergroups within a school system and bring them together to kind of empower them to go back to their school and start bringing these axioms that we talk about and incorporating them into their school culture. And so we brought, what was it, 6-7 schools together.
How'd you guys do that, though? I mean, that's a
of work.
job.
A lot of people want to be around it, especially when they hear the Spartan too. Like the kids, initially you put Spartan, the brand of Spartan, the hype of Spartan, the intensity, they've got some pretty epic videos. So we were able to kind of build some kind of recruitment tapes, if you will, just to
Hype.
get
Hype,
exactly.
yeah.
Some epic stuff. And so initially that, I think, is what kind of lures the kids in, because a lot of the kids, this was their first time doing anything with Sweethearts and Heroes in general.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was something to it that wasn't us that brought them there. But once they got there, they got the juice. They got fired up. And it became, I interviewed a lot of the students all throughout the whole time. When they first got there, all they wanted to talk about was the race. We're looking forward to the race. We're looking forward to the race. Second day, we're looking forward to the race. Last night was fun, but we're still looking forward to the race. On race day, after race day, they said the race was awesome, but it was all the stuff prior to that was sick, which was totally unexpected for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was cool. And yeah. So like Brian was saying, like, it's just about getting the kids there, because we wanted them to come there, get fired up, learn the stuff, but then leave with the hype.
Yeah.
Go back to their communities with the hype.
Takeaway. What was all that stuff beforehand?
The 3 days prior to
Yeah.
the race day, it was a bunch of different things. One of the big things we kind of did was as soon as they got there, we took their phones away, and it was a profound experience to witness these kids who they just ran with it. And the first night was like this massive pool party. Like, it was
spontaneous.
just spontaneous. Like most of the things,
Really?
Really.
it was just unbelievable to see. And that was like one of the number one things that kids took away was like, we didn't have our phones.
Yeah, it was
And we liked
bizarre.
Yeah.
I have some theories on this, actually, because we took their phones away. They weren't allowed to have it. They're playing games. They're lost in the moment, kind of like what we were talking about, kind of like kick the can, capture the flag, kind of stuff like this.
Love capture the flag.
Yeah, we played that. Yeah.
And then they realize, I have them on video. They're all tapping
Oh my
all
God.
tapping. And they realize they don't have this anymore. They don't have this. And then that progressively decreases throughout the night, throughout the first day. They realize, oh, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. They're released. And then by the end of the night, after we're finished with our games or we're kind of just winding down, they just start jumping into the pool like something out of a movie. Fully clothed, not worried
yeah.
about any technology, like set your stuff.
It was
They
nuts.
didn't care. They just were, and it was nuts. And we documented it all. It was almost literally like just like freedom for them, where they could just go anywhere they wanted to without their devices. It was really interesting to kind of witness and capture.
Yeah.
We got some sick slow motion shots too, man.
Can we see this on your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
Sweethearts and Heroes?
I think we've got some of this footage actually on our website, sweetheartsandheroes.com, as just our splash landing page video.
Okay.
It just
Yeah,
rolls when you get on
Yep,
the
on the
website.
homepage. Yep, and then we also have a page dedicated to the whole event and why we put it on, the screen time things. It's got a lot of the videos they put together on the race day. And it's awesome.
How many kids are we talking about here?
We had what was like 120, 140 kids or something like that.
Over 100?
Yeah, it was over 100. There was about seven or eight different schools, probably 20 to 25 kids per school. So
How are you getting 100 plus teenagers to give up their phones? I mean, did they know that they would have to do that?
I think some of them did, but some of the schools I do not think when we got there knew exactly. We just I mean it was, and at some points like if you can't force them to give it up, but everybody really just wanted to do it. They wanted to go all in on it, and
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. He did say the students, as soon as one of them gave it up, they were all cool with doing it.
yeah.
Like they're like, we're all gonna do this together. Like, these kids, they're very interested in experiencing life without this stuff.
Yes.
They are actually interested. They just want the opportunity. If they don't have the opportunity where everyone's doing it, then they feel like they're gonna be behind. They're gonna be in kind of like the deficit of like staying up to date, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I do.
So once we had an environment where everyone was willing to kind of do it, everyone did it, and it was really sick.
It just kind of like sets that healthy, adaptive social norm, which is something we talk about.
Did you guys have to give your cell phones up too?
I bet you Brian wishes he did. He
I
was probably
probably-
on that
yeah.
thing all day.
No, I was walking around. I had it, but yeah.
Was Brian's wife calling him every 5 minutes?
He was on the radio. Did we rent or buy walkie-talkies? We had a production.
bought-
dude.
yeah, we
had
bought 'em.
like a
Really?
sick. Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
my walkie-talkie. That was the thing.
The walkie-talkies were like doing radio chatter. Hey, I need you
Yeah.
over here. It was a good time.
You know what's amazing is, in you know, I mean, I've got a 10-year-old little girl. I mean, kids are so tethered, man. It's like they're
real.
just that's their lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these days, I'm going to put King Tom in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Because he and I are going to hash this out. Because he goes both ways on this. He's like, very important that we cut that tether line, okay? But also, he is a proponent for that. And like, think twice before you discipline your kid and punish them by taking their phone away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's all about it, but I think, you know, he's also a guy of limitations too.
Well, it's about, I think,
Too much of a
meeting
good thing.
Meeting the kids where they're at. I mean,
Right.
we put the phones in their hands, you know? The older generations, we are the ones that giving it to them. And so
Spot on right.
ripping it away from them, you know, after we've done that is kind of unfair because, like you said, it's their lifeline. Like,
Right.
That's how they socialize. Like,
Sure.
everything is on their phone.
Sure.
But also ripping it away when they're alone in the real world, that's literally their only connection. So that's, I think, where that kind of duality of this having tech, not having tech kind of comes into play. What we were doing when they were all together, and just as a lot of schools do,
Yeah.
they say, while you're here, while you have each other, let's put the phones down.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think there is a difference because if I'm alone in my room or going through COVID or something, like back at a lot of these kids were at a very developmental age. I mean,
Yeah.
through this pandemic where they're isolated at home alone. This is a big part of their lives. This is like a large fraction of the years they've been alive.
Yeah.
They've experienced this. And then you take their phone away there.
Yeah.
That's a little different. That's much more isolating than it probably would have been for us or you, definitely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where we get that back and forth thing.
Absolutely, you know, and Tom and I are living, breathing examples of how well we survived without devices like that because we didn't have them, man. You know,
I know I can't even
have-
imagine what that is like
I don't know
nowadays. You know,
how old you guys are, but Tom and I got a few years on you, and it's like, you know, we were out doing other things, and I've said this before in the air. We were climbing trees, digging holes, playing, riding bicycles, getting in trouble. We weren't just walking around tethered to our phones, looking down and just constantly texting. There were no cell phones.
Yeah, there were no cell phones, and you know, growing up, me and my brothers, we were out playing all the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we would watch. You know, we'd have movies and stuff, and we'd even have our phones. But we like to get out and go to
Sure.
the creek or
Right.
you know, whack each other with swords.
What was that? Was that just you guys, or was that a reflection of the parenting from your mom and dad?
I definitely think it was the parenting. I mean, it's not like we were cut off from technology. We
Yeah.
weren't like you know, isolated from that. But you know, they encouraged us to get out and do
Sure.
fun things, and yeah. So that definitely was a heavy contributor to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But-
Some of these kids, man, they freak out if they don't have 5G or Wi-Fi or something.
know.
I mean, it's
Well,
unbelievable.
you know, I freak out. It's like
Well-
you're driving down and you're like, why don't I have freaking service right
I
now?
understand.
But
So this summit that you guys did, September 2024.
yeah.
We're going to do another one?
We want to. We plan to.
Well, I mean,
Everybody wants us to.
September's like tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
September is right around the corner.
I don't think we're fully doing it this year, right?
We
I
don't
mean,
have any current plans to do one. It's it was such a success
Yeah, it
beyond
was.
what we thought it was going to be that you know we have the blueprint now. So
Sure.
putting one of these on is definitely going to be a lot easier in the future. But
Yeah, definitely. And the
Yeah.
students want to do it.
oh
Yeah.
my
The
gosh,
students
yeah.
would love doing
They're
it.
asking to do it, you know,
Sure.
before they even finish the first one. They're like, let's go back.
Obviously, we want to talk about 13 Pillows for Effective Teachers.
Mm.
But before we get there, to introduce yourselves to our audience. What is Sweethearts and Heroes? Let's go up 40,000 feet here. What is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the tagline we have on the thing is the #1 youth leadership team in the world, and we truly believe that. We just have been, You know, Tom and Rick starting this thing 15, 16 years ago now, it's really snowballed into really about humanity. I mean, really, in just in a word.
Sure.
You know, you got two sides to this coin where it's like you got, you know, the advancement of civilization through technology and things like that, but you have to work on the humans that are, you know, who are the ones we sending up in the spacecraft, you know? You need those people in the rocket ship to be capable, to be, you know, competent emotionally, socially, with each other, autonomy. So it's really like this is the fight on the front lines of humanity. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, it is. It is the front line, man. And you guys aren't starting at the top and trying to work your way down with older folks going backwards. Because wow, but you're starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
And going up.
Yeah.
That's the root of it.
That's the root. That's the way. Those younger people are going to be older people, you know. So
Yeah.
we get them ready to rock. And a lot of these students who are kind of in that high school age bracket now,
Yeah.
they've heard the presentation when they were younger. They remember it. They recall the stuff, and they almost feel like they are recontributing to an element of their own childhood by delivering it down to these younger kids.
Sure.
In a weird kind of full circle way. It's like very much, I don't know, I just interviewed some of these students, these high school students, and they're so passionate because it resonates with them on such a deep level. They, you know, jumping back to kind of even summit a little bit on the last day, one of the girls that I was interviewing said, I almost want to fail my senior year just so I can do this again.
Ooh.
Which is kind of bizarre because
Yeah.
when you were a senior, you're ready to get out of there. You're
Yeah.
ready to go to college or whatever you want to do. You're like, dude, I am done with this.
Done.
This is the old me.
Yes.
I'm ready to go, the real world. But she really, like, so there's something that just kind of resonates with them.
Well, that's someone you want to grab and keep is maybe part of Sweethearts and Heroes, man. 'Cause
Exactly.
They get it.
They
Yeah,
get it.
they
and,
get it.
And that's it. And it's just about kind of harnessing that passion. And because it is true, like Brian was saying, the people in the astronauts is a great example. Everyone's so worried about engineering the better technology, the better ship, the better,
Sure.
you know, autopilot. But when the autopilot fails or there's something there, you need someone who's competent
Yeah.
in what they're doing. But a lot of the times that competency arises from being competent as a human, being able to communicate, being able to think things through and like
Yeah.
reevaluate.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
That's how it goes. Like looking back on what you've done, what could you do better, perhaps? And it's just interesting. It's just interesting because a lot of the times we overlook that. It's challenging for anyone to look within themselves and kind of say, hey, how could I maybe make myself a little bit better or a little bit more or be a little nicer, perhaps?
Sure.
You know?
My God, we all have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Both of you guys are Vermonters.
I am.
He's a Vermonter.
Where are you?
I grew up mainly in Pennsylvania,
Oh.
mid-north, Williamsport, the Little League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Williamsport?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. I thought you were a Vermonter.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I've lived up here a couple times. I lived here a number of years ago, and then just got back here in August.
Okay.
Before that, we were in New York.
This is interesting to me. You grew up in a Little League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay. When he lived in New York,
Yeah.
he lives by the...
Cooperstown BaseballAll of Fame.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and I'm not like into baseball though that much, so it's strange.
The universe wants you by these Hall of Fame.
I guess so.
You know what?
Are
This
you
is a-
okay?
Yeah, right. He's being held hostage by baseball.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm just going to throw this in there because we're on baseball. I actually have a relative who's in the Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. Rabbit Moranville.
What a name that is.
Yeah, he was
That
a
is an
quick
interesting
one.
name.
He was a quick one.
That is
Shortstop.
an interesting name.
Rabbit.
Oh my-
Right?
I think Rabbit was a nickname. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Huh.
It was really a long time ago. I
How
have
do you-
not...
What's his last name?
Moranville.
Moranville?
Yeah.
Is that on your
It's on my father's mom's side.
father's mom's side?
How many schools is Sweethearts and Heroes getting into?
Oh, hundreds. This year, I don't know. I would say it's probably close to 100 that we've been in this year. We got Tom and Rick. We also got Joe, and Pat out there consistently. So we've been getting into more and more each year.
Yeah.
In the last few years. So yeah, it's snowballing, but we'll never get to enough of them. That's for sure. But
This Hope classroom is something that is a big deal right now.
yeah.
What is that?
Hope Classroom. So it started as an idea to get all of our stuff into one of the things that I've been working on since I've been on board now for about 6-7 years has been figuring out how to take a lot of this stuff we talk about and this content that we have and putting it on an online platform that's helpful to the educators. And educators are just over platformed out the wazoo. And so we kind of built our own Hope Classroom to kind of house all this material, but we've recently teamed up with this organization called Thrively, which their online platform is much different than just this content resource center. It's best described as the way they term it is like a learner-centered ecosystem.
Okay.
And it's really about kind of merging education and student well-being into technology and focusing on strength-based education.
Yeah.
And so we're adding, we have a whole slew of courses and programs that we're currently getting into their system. So it's going to be combining this, like I said, learner-centered ecosystem that they have this thing called the Strength Index where students will take a strength assessment test and it tells them like their strengths and starts helping them go down learning paths and career learning paths and stuff. They just have a tremendous amount of resources, and getting our stuff in there and combining it is just going to be unbelievably
This
amazing.
isn't anything that's been created by a state. This is something that's created by you guys.
Yeah, the content. Yeah.
All the content curriculum.
Fantastic.
Brian and Tom, they build it, they work on it, and then Abby and I, we shoot it and edit it and kind of piece it together. So we kind of have like putting them together there in that regard. And then like you said, we're kind of working with Thrively now, which is kind of built by on its own too. That we've just kind of seen some sweet similarities that we want to kind of join up with them. And it's it's actually really neat because I look back on some of the times when I was in like middle school or something, and I remember like always having to sign up for the new Moodle. We're doing Moodle now. That was a big thing. I don't even know if it's around still, but we had to make all ththese little platforms. You have to make your profile, you have to do this stuff. And it was all kind of like very much the same thing. Yeah. I mean, it's just it is what it is. But with Thrively, it's a little different because the student almost gets to kind of find out who they are. Like it's like personality quiz, if you will.
That's exactly. Yeah.
Questions are like, how do you like to learn? How are you like? And then the algorithm or whatever connects the students with maybe trusted adults who are similar to the student.
Yeah.
So it pairs them up like, hey, if you need something, talk to them. Or teacher, this kid seems to be having a tough time today because Thrively asks like, how are you feeling today? How was your weekend? How was this? And it's like a sliding scale. Like, when you like leave Walmart, how they have like a how was your visit survey? Yeah. It's the same thing, but just a whole like range of different things that children might be dealing with. And they can kind of answer without someone like judging them because they're sharing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Without kind of getting
Or
ridiculed.
like tapping into their world, with the technology side of it. But, Yeah.
And then if like something registers, like maybe Brian's having an off day, he's kind of been having like the last couple days we've done this check, he's been kind of down in the dumps.
Yeah.
You perhaps as like the trusted teacher or adult who's like pretty close and similar to Brian might be able to say, yo, what's up? Like,
yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting because you take this network that fosters this kind of stuff plus what we're doing in terms of the course and like kind of pushing the ball forward, and it's just going to be a pretty sweet combination of just both things.
Well, I mean, I don't need to tell you guys this. You all know. We all know that everyone learns differently. Yes. And I say literally everyone, and especially kids. I mean, there's just, and I've said this to Tom before, and I can't remember, Loudon, if I said this when you were on with us as well, but that, listen, no disrespect to the core curriculum, math, science, social studies, English. We all need to learn those things, but man, there is some foundational stuff that kids are just not learning in in schools. You know, I mean, my little girl was all concerned over the last couple of weeks about state testing and would wake up first thing in the morning. Oh my God, state testing today, Dad. And if I don't do well, I'm doomed. Like, it's over.
That's crazy.
Like if I don't do well on this test, what's going to happen to me?
Yeah. The pressure is just crazy that we put on kids today.
It's crazy.
It's really quite nuts.
Like, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. You do your best.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
What if I don't know the answers? You know, you're going to be okay. But even kids they're starting to get programmed about stigma, stamping, labeling. This person sucks in math. You know, that's a stamp.
Yeah.
Will your life
And
be
does
a
that
failure if you suck in math?
Right. Does that play any, relevance to the rest of your entire life and everything else that you know, can do?
What you guys are doing is kick ass.
Thank you.
We're trying to, we're focusing on those human skills, like Loudon talks about a lot, is like, and self-awareness, is often like the foundation of that. But we're going into stuff, I mean, you can get on Grok or ChatGPT right now and pretty much get any content, factual answer that you're looking for. Anybody can do it. It's right in your pocket. And like, back then when, we didn't have access to that knowledge right there in front of us all the time. Yeah, you had to remember that stuff.
Right.
But it's different today. Every kid has got all that information right in their phone. So what should we be focusing on rather than this content that we've taught in a similar way for the last 50, 60 years?
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
These are the important things to learn. Go ahead.
100%. That's it. When you were talking about looking up, right? Like the essence of Wikipedia or anything. Like I didn't even have that. When I'm thinking like fourth graders. Like if I didn't know a word, I'm a horrible speller, by the way. I never was a very good speller, nor did I really care to, and looks like I don't need to anymore, to be honest with you.
Sure.
So it actually worked out well for me, but I didn't plan on that. But
right.
But anyways, like even like I remember I would always be told, look it up in the dictionary. Look it up in the dictionary.
Yeah.
And the act of me looking up in the dictionary was like, dude, I am not doing that. I'm just gonna go without, and I'll see how far it gets me.
Sure.
It worked out all right, but like kids these days don't even have the need to look it up in the dictionary.
They don't even know what a dictionary
They
is.
don't know what a
What the hell's a dictionary?
No. And like when you're talking about state testing and the pressures of this, one thing that I thought I was kind of, I guess in a weird way, envious of. I was a public school student the whole way. Brian and all of his brothers, and Abby, Tom's daughter, and all of their siblings were all homeschooled. All of my cousins were homeschooled. So
Right.
I always kind of viewed that when I was growing up as kind of like strange, weird, from my perspective.
Right.
Weird homeschoolers, different. But in reflecting now, the homeschoolers were able to explore things that they were interested in naturally. Things that like Abby, for example, worked at a restaurant. She learned business firsthand by working and running a very successful restaurant and contributing to the success of that restaurant. Brian got to mess around and kind of like experiment with writing plays and writing.
Yeah, my whole high school I just wrote pretty much.
But, That's his whole
awesome.
high school, which look what he's doing now. So you see how that kind of works.
Still writing.
Still writing. Exactly, still writing. When I was in school, I was doing state tests. I remember the parent-teacher conferences. I would get scolded and punished in terms of grades because I didn't do my homework. Like I understood the material, I didn't do my homework, but on my transcript it looked as if I was a poor student because I didn't turn in my homework. And I remember my parent-teacher conferences, my parents would come in and they'd meet with the teacher, and the teachers would always say like unanimously the same thing. Oh, Loudon's a very nice person. He jokes around a lot. He's very fun to have in class, but I can't get him to do his homework, so I'm going to have to put a C there instead of an A. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just a touch unfair because had you given me a camera like I liked to do back when I was a kid, skateboarding, snowboarding, filming my friends joking around, documenting it perhaps, my grades might have reflected something different than they did.
Right.
And then that kind of sets up your path. like if I think that I'm a B student, a C student, I'm probably gonna perform like a B
What
student.
kind of
or a C
mindset
student.
does that put you in?
But
You know?
you need, hopefully, you've got some adults who can guide you onto the path or the roadway that you need to get on, where you're tapping into the stuff that not only are you inertly interested in, but you're going to succeed in, and you're going to do well.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to tap into, especially with this Hope Classroom and Thrively. We're trying to tap into interest-based, curiosity-based learning.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
So that's
I
where
love
we're
that.
shifting. Yeah.
I wish more schools were doing this. I mean, Sweethearts and Heroes is huge. I wish it was even bigger.
And it's coming along. I mean, I just read something about this whole concept that New York State is working on. And it's not a new concept, this portrait of a graduate type thing where it's taking more of the whole student into account for the graduation rather than just, there's grades or testing.
Sure.
Well, this is so true because if you ask employers or even colleges when you're applying, they dude, if it was just about handing your grades over, that's one thing. It's not, though. It's about what other stuff did you do? Did you do any clubs? Did you do any sports? Did you do, and then for employers, it's like, what are your skill sets? Like, that's great. You're good at math. That's awesome. We will use that. But can you work with a team? Can you do this kind of stuff? Can you learn how to troubleshoot on your own? Are you self-sustainable? Are you autonomous?
Resolve conflict.
Yeah.
All real life skills.
Yeah, all those soft teams. It's like, I went to college and did 4 years and got like a GPA of a 3.96.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Like, it's just a number. It's just I don't even use
Exactly.
the degree I got,
Sure.
It's about the things I learned in there that aren't quantifiable, really.
Yeah. Wow. Well said. Amazing. What I love so much about you guys and this monster that Tom and Rick have created is that this is something now that is creating its own momentum. This is something that is sustaining itself now. You guys are giving schools, you're giving students the tools to carry on the same messaging that you guys are infiltrating into these schools and having them do it on their own and affect their younger scholars in their schools.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude. No, that's spot on. That is spot on, and that's kind of the whole cycle that we're trying to use. And it's bigger than just the schools because, as you're seeing with Vermont and these New York dealerships, these Chevy dealerships, it's the community who's investing and dumping their literal, energy and finances into these communities, into these schools for us to keep this going and to keep recycling and giving back. And then those students grow up and become community members themselves.
Sure.
And then it repeats, and it's just like an endless supply of just positivity and growth. And it's just the important stuff. It's a tighter knit community as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sick.
We're going to talk 13 Pillows, but before we do, Brian, how did you meet Tom? What was the inception of your involvement with Sweethearts and Heroes? How did this all come to be?
So my involvement with Sweethearts and Heroes really does go back to 13 Pillows. Tom knew as a writer and that's actually the very first project I worked on with him. We kind of went to a studio one day and he sat down with an educator and they talked through these things and I just sat in the shadows and listened and the original, it kind of leads into 13 Pillows. The original 13 Pillows book, we're going to write like this series of anecdotal stories that we had experienced or that, Tom and Rick had gone through and the stories they got from students. And we're kind of getting a little... We got in the weeds with some of it, and so we decided to be like, what if we take this and made it like a novel and like an arc, like a story arc, and interjected these. I mean, Tom will tell you he can talk about it much more than I can because I helped him on the project. We worked basically together on it, and he can point to anything in that book on any page and be like, yeah, this is where that story came from. This is where that story came from.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I started with this thing about 6 years ago.
So I'm confused here about a couple of things. First of all, 13 pillows. What does that mean? And why is effective spelled with an E?
Yeah. So
not an A.
Yeah, the pillows concept comes from this thing. I wish I had. When you lay down in the bed at night, and before you go to sleep, there's this little statement process. I wish I had, or
I'm glad I did.
I'm glad I did, or something like that. And if you had, I'm glad I did. It's called the pillow test. But more glad I'm did than if you've had a successful day versus the I wish I had. So that's where that kind of comes from. And do you feel like you've done what you needed to do today? I guess in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the affective versus effective. I don't remember exactly, but it was something about teachers, and it was a evaluation of some kind in New York State about teachers and their effectiveness with an E. Well, we are on the affective human skill side, and so that's where we kind of swapped it, and we're like, no, it's not about being effective; it's about being affective as an educator. So that's where those kind of come from.
So it's turned into a novel.
Yes, it's like a one storyline arc. It's about this guy named Bruce, who's a phys ed teacher, and he just lost a student to their own hands, and he's just he's gonna quit in the beginning of the book. He's got like his resignation letter ready, and he's reading it out loud. But then this janitor kind of steps out of the shadows. That's why we call it part 1 of the Custodian Chronicles. Part 2 is in the works. We'll see when it gets there. But this janitor kind of steps out of the shadows, and he's kind of an old, seasoned, gritty educator who's kind of worked in the inner city, and but now he's retired. He just lost his wife, and so he was just kind of trying to get back into things and helping people. And he kind of just takes Bruce under his wing and gives him these 13 pillows or affective principles or lessons that really can just act as a guiding creed almost in a way for teachers. So yeah. But like I said, Tom can point to any page in that book and pull the true story out of it that's enwrapped in it. So.
I'm the least bit surprised. This is something that is really not easy for many of us to do before we close our eyes and fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Is to lay down, lights out, phone off, and to have that be one of our last thoughts before we fall asleep. It's so much easier to fall asleep thinking about what happened today that was a pain in the ass, what we're worried about tomorrow, or what we need to do tomorrow, what's got to be done.
Yeah.
And it's not just bills that have to be paid and stuff, but it's all the other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps it's almost like you're ending your day with like a touch of gratitude at least.
Yeah.
And kind of championing and celebrating a little self-appreciation, which is not a bad thing. You should be happy at what you've accomplished.
Yeah. Maybe you haven't accomplished that much.
And maybe you haven't accomplished that much.
And being honest with yourself about that is, tough. But
maybe you had a bad day.
You're not,
maybe you did have a bad day.
We all have bad days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
bad
happens.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But taking that time, like you said, to have that moment of self-reflection and again self-awareness, it's the foundation of really everything.
Where do we get this book?
You can get it on Amazon. You can go to our website, swearsandheroes.com /13 pillows, I believe. We have the audiobook version as well, read by a guy. It's great. He did a great job.
You get it on Audible too, right?
Yeah, Audible.
It's on Audible.
Yep. We also have a full-blown curriculum that we're actually working on getting into the Hope Classroom and stuff that's going to be available to work through. We had an educator, a number of educators go through it and contribute to it, adding all of these questions and exercises and discussion topics for both students and educators.
Yeah, and there's just something poetic to me about the kind of this janitor this custodian who actually ends up being like the Yoda character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
kind of mentoring someone along, because when you really break it down and think about it, like the janitor, the custodian, they see the school from a way different lens. They probably see the real school. They see the writing on the walls in the bathroom. They see the scribbling on the desk. They scrape the gum off the desk. They clean the stuff. They hear the stuff. You know, they clean up the messes, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, like they are kind of like the fly on the wall, if you will, in a
Yeah.
lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting. The custodial arts. I used to call it the custodial arts, right? I was a janitor. That was one of my first jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I called it the custodial arts. As a floor guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and just some of the stuff. It's like I can't believe like some of these kids would do this. Why would they do this? They
Yeah.
punched a hole through the wall. They drew a
Huh.
something here,
Right,
you
yeah,
know,
right.
fill in the blank, and it's like there's an element of patience that come along with that job,
Sure.
and the day in and day out, like the repeating,
Yeah.
and I'm
Why would you not flush the toilet?
right, or why would you put everything in the toilet and then try to flush it, like things like this, you know? So it's just like this kind of the essence of this book, and like using the perspective of the custodian to kind of mentor this teacher
Sure.
who should have it all figured out, who feels like a failure perhaps because something went off the rails that he couldn't account for. You know,
I'm wondering if you guys how forgiving Leon is, and maybe you can talk a little bit about Leon and what a great guy is, because I feel like a giant ass. Here's why. We're looking at the press release. I'm becoming more and more familiar with you guys every week. But I'm like, Leon, yeah, I made a couple, changes here to the press release. Effective is misspelled. And he sends me a note back. It's misspelled purposely, Bob. And I'm like, I
could have fooled me. I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known.
And he's like, the boys are going to explain it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Leon's great.
You don't think he's going to tell anyone that I did that I sent
No.
him that email?
I have
Dude,
no
Leon's
idea.
sick.
No, Leon's sick though. Yeah.
Is he a good dude?
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
a great guy.
Should I be embarrassed in front of him
No,
Definitely not.
Not at all.
for saying, "Hey, man, the word effective is misspelled"?
I'm surprised you didn't see him at that concert you went to be honest with you.
Was he at ACDC?
No, I don't know. But he's a good dude.
He's a
man.
good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a character. He's
Yeah.
fun to hang out with. I'm excited for him to come on the show. That should be sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
Tom kind of, maybe it was Abby. I don't know. Somebody said, "Buckle
Yeah.
up."
Oh yeah. I think when
I've
Abby and
never
Leon
met him. I don't know.
when Abby and Leon have their episode where they're sitting down and on the show, I think that'll be a sick episode.
Oh, is that going to be? Is both of them at the same
Yeah.
time?
I
At the
think that
same
would be
time.
fun.
All right. And he's a media guy.
Yeah, he's the media guy.
a
Journalist, dude.
Yeah.
Old school. Talk about technology with him,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's
Old
a
school.
paradigm shift, dude.
Old school journalists are a little.
He's got a great perspective.
You know
on
what I'm saying? But anyway, so what's next for you guys? Where are we going next?
Where are we going next?
know for a fact next trip for me is I am going to make a little tour, a community day tour where I travel around and I'm documenting and filming basically the final fruit. Well, I will say final fruit, but it's going to continue to give the final fruit of our Spartan event. So the whole product of the Spartan event was we get them there, we fire them up as we discussed, right? We send them home empowered to teach.
That kind of ignition stage.
Love
Exactly,
that.
to
Yeah.
teach the mission. But their essential, I guess you could call it like their version of their Super Bowl for this program is they host their own Spartan race at their schools for their community, where the students who came to our event are like the administrators of their event. And they've done everything from building their obstacle course, kind of like almost like a tech program kind of style thing where they actually get hands-on, use some tools, build some stuff, get creative with how they're going to set up their course, and then also kind of put it on as like the production team. So my next step in the weeks to come is I will be kind of making my rounds, documenting that, seeing how it goes, and just kind of putting a closing chapter on what we did last September, essentially.
Whose idea was this to bring it to each school?
It kind of just snowballed during the discussions of the whole summit thing. The whole thing was these kids have taken this we call our STEP program, or Student Teacher Empathy Program, where we created a program that they went through that taught them how to deliver our foundational message of hope, action, and bullying.
Yes.
And they've been delivering those presentations to their elementary students, which is the students they're going to put the race on for. So yeah, it's been a great culmination of all this stuff we started back in September.
There's hope, there's empathy, and there's also action.
And activity, man.
Yeah.
Because like you got to get off the couch. You got to do something. Take the VR headset off. Play in the real world, right?
Number one brain rule is motion, according to John Medina, brain scientist.
Say it one more time.
Number one brain rule is motion. Our brain lights up like a Christmas tree. We were, as older, ancient humans walk up to 10 miles
a
Yeah.
day
or something like that.
I heard something about that.
All the things they're seeing
Yeah.
while walking.
Yeah, the interaction
Taking
with
it.
the world,
Yeah.
instead of just being in front of, So
All the senses
incredibly
are in
important.
there.
Yeah.
Sight and sound and touch and the wind and the rain and whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the concept of observing something, right?
Sure.
Like that's innovation,
So important.
Like yeah. So yeah, it's just really cool to kind of put boots on the ground and let the students kind of run wild, if you will, and then we even have some I don't know if we can say this, but we do have some swag for them when they finish up their thing, just to kind of
That's amazing.
put the seal on the envelope for them.
Yeah.
So
I want to make sure that we are covering all of the bases while you guys are here. I don't want to close out with something else that you guys wanted to bring to the microphones, or something that Leon has told you. Make sure you push this.
No, I mean, we were totally coming in here just freestyling.
We're winging
to
it,
be honest.
man.
We love
Yeah,
it.
Honestly. Yeah.
we love your format. We love your show. We're
Yeah.
so happy that we're a part of it, honestly,
Yeah,
and the
it's so
fact that you can kind of get us in here and chat with us. And
I love it too.
in a natural chill vibe, like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just think that'll resonate with a lot more people who are maybe on the fence about the kind of work we do. Just give us a chance to hear us out, and you'll understand how important it is.
How do folks listening, watching, say, I got to get them in my local school? How do they do that?
Yeah, find us at sweetheartsandheroes.com. We have a contact form on there. We also have a bunch of information on our presentations, other work we do involving circle training. Yeah.
But also, I would think if you really want us in your school, your local school, your kid's school, your grandkid's school, perhaps, I think what you should do is contact the school and say, we need to get these people in here.
Yeah.
Contact us. We wish we could be in every school ever. That's like our goal.
Yeah.
But we need your help as well. Is like, get us there, help us get there. Talk to the people at the school who make the decision and say, this is very important. We need these people here.
Word of mouth in this in the school education system in particular is just the most powerful way that we usually get in.
What info should I put? Tom's email and phone in the comments?
Yeah,
or?
Tom or info@sweetheartsandheroes.com works too.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the comments right now.
And for people who have a tough time with spelling, there isn't. What is it? Heroes? How do you spell that? How do you spell
It's
it?
HEROES.
I've been sending emails to the wrong emails because I've been forgetting how to make that plural. So that is it's a long email.
It is a long. We did not pick a good domain name.
What's worse, doing that or misspelling effective?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Once again, I wouldn't know.
Can you spell necessary?
Definitely not. I can
Three-
ask Siri though.
There's 3 C's in there.
Really?
3 C's in there. Jeez, man. Listen, you guys are absolutely amazing. I love what you do. That's a huge understatement. I can't wait to have you back. I don't even know who's coming in next Wednesday. Frankly, I don't care because I know it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Right on.
And we got to do some testimony stuff. I'm going to be going to Peru, New York with you guys.
Yeah.
And sitting in on a local high school that's got a podcast there.
Which is actually sprouted from the summit event this
Nice.
year.
Really?
That group of
That's a
students, that's
byproduct
what
of
they
that.
took back and did with it, yeah.
That is so badass.
Yeah,
Man. I
it's
just
amazing.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I can't wait to, and I want to experience at a school the assembly. I want to experience what you guys have not only done but continue to do, and frankly have mastered. And it's not just Tom and Rick, and I know King Tom loves to get the kudos, but it's Rick too, man. I mean, these guys are animals.
Yeah.
What they're doing, what you all are doing, chipping away every hour of every day, is remarkable. It really is so impressive.
Thank you.
I am so honored to be part of what you guys are doing in any capacity, even if it's just echoing what you're doing and sharing it on my airwaves.
Oh, which is important.
I love
Vitally,
it, man.
vitally important. Yeah.
It's so incredible. I have a final question here this morning. In the Spartan race, I have heard that King Tom, Mr. UFC, that he's packed on a few pounds over the years, and has that is Abby saying his cardio is really at an all-time low.
Oh no.
And he needs a lot of work. Is there any truth to that? Did he do the Spartan race, Brian?
I will say he did not do the Spartan race, but that's as far as Tom could, take
Yeah,
anybody.
we might be fired now. Just no.
What I heard is that he got like 5 minutes into it and was puking and had to be airlifted out of there.
Well, I
and-
might have blown by him in the beginning, so
Did you
it
smoke
might have
him?
happened, yeah.
Did
so,
you?
Yeah, maybe.
See?
I just have footage of him going over the finish line over and over again. I don't know what he was doing there.
Oh, just for the
He was trying to win all the medals. Like,
really? See, he wanted you to get footage of
He
that.
said, no. He's like,
how'd
"Get
this
me-
one work, Loudon?
Now try this one in slow motion.
Oh my God! Love you guys, man. Thanks for coming in.
Right on, man.
Let's do it
Thank
again
you.
soon, man.
Absolutely.
Sweethearts and heroes live with us this morning on the Aired Out podcast. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Don't forget G in tomorrow, Rex on Friday. To close out the week is going to be a wild one. We got a lot to talk about. Stick around. Thanks for following. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Thanks for YouTubing it. Appreciate your eyes and ears. Over and out for now.